So I am here with Frances, even though I've told her plenty of times that she don't need me here. But I guess I was scared to interview Aaron. I don't know if you guys saw that. He said I was scared, but hopefully we can get to the bottom of a lot of good questions that I'm sure many people have in their hearts. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
before you start, let me acknowledge Dust. He says, "I hope everyone is having a great weekend. I hope so too." So let's get to it. So let me bring up Dioxys. Uh, guys, of course, this is really hard. Just so y'all know, it's not easy.
Paul, hey, look.
Not
For
easy at
all
all.
you people who want to be streamers, fixing things on the fly is cray cray, and if you're not prepped, it shows.
Well,
Um,
it's gonna show today because I didn't physically have everything going because my son is sick. But um before I think, should we bring Aaron up or should we play the Oxy first? What do you think, Henry?
I mean, Aaron has limited time. We can always play Deoxys
Later.
later.
Got it. Aaron, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Got it. So let me move this. All right. So Aaron has given the thumbs up. So I will introduce him again, like I told everyone.
You just have to release it. Who cares about the money? And I was like, well, the investors do. They care about it. And I was like, and there's certain things that, they come in and they want to invest. And the thing is, they don't have to invest and they're not the bad guys in this situation. Will they make all their money back? I don't know. But they want to make sure they make obviously some of it back, obviously. But they also want to ensure Jason's legacy. So there's a fine line. People talk about films who have no idea how any of that works.
Facts.
And it's very complicated, but we would love to go theatrical because Jason wanted to go theatrical. And we would love to do that, even if it's, like I said, it's always been a plan to do a small release. But if a streamer comes in, because we've had early conversations with a lot of streamers, and if they want to offer us a profitable sum, which me and Chris, who's the executive producer, we would be really ecstatic about that because not only would he make back his money, but also then some money would go to the, Frank estate, which we'd be really excited about because I would love to see Tammy and Jenna be taken care of a little bit, through Jason's legacy, because obviously, they get nothing from Hasbro or Saban or Boom or anything like that. So it's kind of like, have to wait and see. At the beginning, we were a little naive and the project was much smaller. So that's why we said certain release dates and different things that have now kind of got us caught up and these different things. But the movie was funny. One person was like, I know the movie's done. Release it right now. Like Aaron's just holding on to milk it, which I don't know how I would be milking it.
Yeah,
We
I
like
think
there's no profit.
I think
So
that what happens is that this, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. It started as a Kickstarter, which was way
mhm.
smaller than what it was. Started as a
Yes.
Kickstarter, got bigger. Jason passed. Now there's more pressure because now it's like it's his last film. People are
Yes.
investing. People want it to mean something. Now you're also adding in there's documentaries happening, there's this happening, there's people reaching
Right.
out, and you have a lot of pressure. And unfortunately, the delays saying, hey, it's going to come out this year and this year and this year, make it make you a target, makes it a
Yeah.
target to like be made fun of, or people thinking that it's not gonna happen. So before I we answer that, one of you, let me acknowledge Laura. Hugs and love to you, Aaron.
Oh,
You're doing a good job.
So
that's very kind. Thank you, Laura.
so to be fair, you do have a fiduciary responsibility to the investors to get as much money as you possibly can for the movie. Is that correct?
Yes, but it's correct.
Okay.
Correct, but also like most investors in Hollywood are greedy jerks and they will gut the movie or make decisions that are purely financial. And our executive producer who has invested millions into the movie,
Is that
okay,
Chris
Chris
J?
J.
Okay.
Yeah, he's invested millions into it. Plural. and he is happy with just breaking even. I mean, he is okay with even having a little bit of a loss. He preferred obviously make a profit. We all would, so Jen and Tammy could make some. But his main goal, unlike a lot of Hollywood producers, they just want to greed, money, money, money. Who cares? Who cares? He wants to, and just like, which was so nice. Francis, at the end of the interview we did, you said, thank you for loving Jason, because you saw how many people used him and didn't really love him.
Okay.
I tell Chris that all the time, because Chris, grew up being a big Power Ranger fan, and he saw Saban and Boom and Hasbro take advantage of him and never appreciate him. And he's like, I'm going to believe in Jason all the way, and I want to make his vision come true. So he's all in. He's all in. If we can make some money back, great. That's wonderful. We have to at least try for that, but we're not going to sacrifice quality of the movie, and we're not going to rush quality of the movie based upon some sort of financial, profit or anything like that. So it's a fine balance, and you can vilify a lot of people in that process. But if you really know what is actually going on, it's like, to say, that we're sitting on it or not working on it is, me and Chris have these conversations about some of the fans getting mad at us, and we're like, all we do, like, Chris's blood pressure's through the roof. People like see me like, whoa, Aaron, looks like you've aged 10 years in 4 years. And I was like, all we do is work on this movie. Like, this movie is so important to us that it is perfect and it's great. And, it's not going to be some giant Marvel movie that makes, $100 million or anything, or look like $100 million. But, we're hoping it to look a little above CW, even though, some of their budgets are higher than ours. Some of them are not.
So
but the quality is the most important thing.
okay, yeah. To be fair, would you guys take a loss to get it in front of a bigger audience? Would you say, hey, we'll take a 50% loss, or whatever percentage loss to get it above in front of the most amount of people possible? So like Netflix has 270 subs, whereas like Hulu has 50 million. If Hulu offers you a break even point versus Netflix, who is going to offer you a loss, but they have about 5 times the amount of viewers, would you go with Netflix?
Possibly. It depends. That's a really kind of loaded question. I see what you're saying, because you're saying, do the fans matter more than the money? And ultimately, yes. But it also depends. Like, if Netflix is like, hey, we have 275 million subscribers, but we're going to give you $1 for it. And
Yeah,
Hulu's like, hey, we only have 50 million subscribers, but we'll give you like 4 million for it. And you're like, well, we get help, because then you're like, well, you want to help the fans because that's what Jason wanted. But I'm like, but that 4 million, we'd have to be offered more. But it would, if you could help out his family or whatever, or you could use some of that money and donate it to charities. Like, you have to look at like there's like a lot of different things that come into play there.
And who has the final decision maker? Is that you? Is it you and Chris J? Is it you, Chris J, and Tammy? Like, is there a group that makes the final decision on the sale price?
There is a group, yes.
How many people
that has this sort of?
Just out of curiosity.
So it would be essentially Bat and the Sun and Chris, and then the Frank estate has a say to do in it as well.
Pat the Sun, so it's Chris, Frank estate. So that's what, 3 people? If three entities per se.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Are they weighted equally? So everyone owns 33%, or does Chris J have a bigger say because he invested way more?
No, and see, that's kind of the amazing thing about Chris, is that a lot of times you come in with, like, you're the sole investor, you get all the say because you have all the money. And Chris didn't demand that. He wanted like when Jason was here, it was 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
Okay.
So he wanted to be fair. He wanted to be fair to Jason, and he never wanted to feel, because Jason always felt like he had no control with Saban or Hasbro, and they ignored him. And Chris thought Jason's ideas were great, and he never wanted to ever feel like Jason was being cast aside. Like,
Okay. Are we going to get
Let
to
me
the
let me
stuff?
get to the yeah, we will. But let me ask this question from Intestified. He said, hi, was the ending changed with JDF's passing?
It's a great
Not
question.
at all. Not at all. It's exactly as it was planned with. It was written with him.
Because you've read it online. We've all seen it. How people have said, well, you're milking it. You're changing the movie about you. You're adding more of, if you're still filming after he's gone, it's because you're adding more parts of you. Are you changing the movie, so the prequel and the sequel are about your character. I think that that's, it's good to know that nothing has changed despite his passing, because I think there was rumors or things going around that you're cutting Jason's parts
Oh
down.
no, that was like that was like almost like the one stipulation we went back and had to kind of reshape the movie because we were still missing some stuff from it, was to cut as little, if anything, of him in the movie. Like keep as much of Jason in the movie. And what people also should remember, because when they watch it, there's gonna be like, there's a lot of you too in it, Aaron. Which like in all the posters released, like the Boss Logic poster or the print on Sideshow, it's always both dragons. So the movie is very much about two people. When you watch it, Jason is clearly the star. Because like if you watch The Dark Knight, right? Like Batman's the star of the movie, but Joker's a really big part of that movie.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
but you don't think
Oh,
Joker's a
I
big part of
think
the movie?
no, I think Joker stole the movie from Batman, even though he had about I think 20 minutes screen time
Yeah, well, I
total.
think Joker was just written and acted better. I don't think Christian was given a lot to dive into with those movies. I think, like, I mean, Heath Ledger was so great, and I'm not comparing myself to Heath Ledger at all, but I'm just saying that when you have a superhero movie, the villain is also, he kind of defines the hero. So in a weird way, there's a lot of screen time of the villain, but he is purely building the hero's journey.
Okay, who has
But
more?
that was,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
hmm?
ahead. I didn't
I
know
said
you were on.
that was always the intention. So when you watch it, they're gonna be like, "There's a lot of Aaron in this movie," and I'm like, "Well, that was always the plan. That was always what was written." So
So you have more
what
screen
you're saying?
time than Jason in the movie, or who has more screen time?
It's pretty even. I haven't actually gone through and done the math on this, and I'm sure when it comes out, someone's gonna be like, "Aaron has a minute and a half more. Whatever." I don't haven't ever looked at that. So, but what I would say though is that, like, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but like my character is all about Eric Reed in it. So even like my scenes are still building Eric and building his character and that sort of stuff. And that's what, all heroes are defined by their villains. So you can't have just kind of like a
Exactly.
lame villain that's just barely in it, because you need to have those
It's like a
steps that he
yin and a
overcomes.
yang. It has to be together. It's
Yeah.
yin and
Yeah.
yang. Um,
But
so
Jason also always wanted that for me. He always wanted it to be, because originally, uh like here's some interesting like drama, or not drama, that's not drama, info. When we were working with Johnny Bosch, I think Johnny he wanted to go get Austin,
right.
and then Jason's like, no, I want Aaron to do it. I believe in Aaron. He's such a good Joker. I think he'd be a great villain for this. He's like, Aaron, I want you to do it. So I was like, cool, if you believe in me. I was like, because if he was like, no, Aaron, I'm gonna go, because originally I think Jason asked John Berthenol, because he was Berthenol. Did I say that right?
Personal. Mhm.
He's
Understand.
friends with him, and he was like, "Hey, if he's like Aaron, if we can get John though, I think that'd be better." And I was like,
Oh
"Yeah,
yeah.
get John. If you get John, like do that, like, So, but that didn't work out. But it was a mutual thing as far as what Jason wanted and what I would think was best for the project and so forth. So it's like a very much a group, choice of what we think's the best.
And I mean, it works a lot. About, if you think about it, all these people, even after Jason passed, still came back, reshooted. They did. You guys reshot. You did ADR. Mark Dacascos, David Ramsey. Everybody came back, and you can say that Mark Dacascos and David Ramsey are bigger names, right? And they came back, and it speaks a lot about the love of Jason, and also with you, right? Because if you were like this person that wasn't honest, or a good person, or someone that had a good connection with people, then they wouldn't come back. It's done. The star is gone. You know what I mean? And that speaks volumes, I think. So I know that you're on limited time, and so I want to get through what happened, right? What happened in the
Okay.
last 24 hours with the Deoxy interview, because I think you were you were basically called a liar, and that I can imagine how that affects people, especially like, when you know that what you're doing, you don't feel like you're lying, and especially when people kind of just go out and attack, kind of, right? I don't
Right.
think Deoxy, to be honest, I don't think Deoxy attacked you. I think he just had, like, receipts. He's like, wait, that didn't happen, or he feels that didn't happen, or this was that, or this and that. And I think that there's a lot of things that weren't clear. And I think today we should just leave them clear
I,
and it's done, right?
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
ask
you,
away. Go rapid fire these questions to me. What I would
so
say about the Oxford, what I'll say about the Oxford quicker is that I don't mind people coming to their own conclusions as long as, and I posted this somewhere, as long as your goal is for communication, understanding of a situation, and not taking certain facts and building a toxic, hateful environment. Which is why I reached out to him. I was like, hey, if you have any questions you want to ask me, and I'm a big fan of just talk to me. I'll explain everything, and everything's cool. And then when you like ignore and then repost and retweet other things, I was like, well, it seems like your goal is not for understanding and information. It's to build a, like a negative rapport. And I was like, well, I don't like that. Like, why would you do that? But that would be my. I was like, oh, just talk to me.
but
I saw someone like that. Like he was complaining online. He's like, look at what he's doing. And someone's like, why didn't you just respond to him and talk to him? And I was like, yeah, why didn't you just do that?
well, one, he doesn't owe you a response, and two, you did threaten a lawyer if he didn't interview. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's how. I mean, a lot of people, I don't think understand that's how that works in the
Okay,
industry. You know,
fair. So,
like that's the advice I get from the lawyer. Because basically, if someone is calling you a liar or whatever, it's best to say, hey, my lawyer is going to reach out. Now, someone put out the word sue or whatever, which I didn't say that. But what happens, a lawyer will reach out and be like, hey, it's basically like a mediator to make sure that things don't escalate. Although people, I think, young fans don't know that's kind of how it works in the industry.
okay, so do you feel like Deoxy lied about you?
I mean, his headline is "Bat in the Sun lied?" ? And then if you read all the comments, everyone just is agreeing with him that I'm like
So,
garbage.
is that a yes or a no? Like, do you think Deoxy lied about you?
I think he used information to portray things that were incorrect.
Is that yes or no? I'm like, all right, let's go to another question. What did he say was
Okay.
false? Because you posted specifically that, and I could read the post or I could share the post. You said there are a lot of talkers and haters online. This guy posted a video full of false info and edited my
Yeah.
interview, so a lot of details were missing. So,
Yeah.
what was false in his video, and what details from your interview were missing? It's kind of like a two-part question.
So okay, so that's I'd have to go back and watch it again. I watched it and I'm very busy and this stuff. I know it's like a big deal to you guys. I know it seems like a really, really big deal. You guys like think about it all the time. I don't. So he said like a lot of stuff he said about Boom and Hasbro and Amy and stuff that I posted, like that stuff was just all like a lot of information was missing and like he took out a lot of the story. So I have to read the comments again. I try to respond to them because I live in the moment because I'm busy doing stuff. That's why I respond really quick because I'm
So,
like I'm present
so you
and I
didn't
do it.
watch
But
the
if you want
video. So
to,
did you
no,
watch
I
his
did.
video? Okay,
Yeah, I
so
did.
you watched his video, but you don't know off the top of your head what was false or what was missing from your original that he manipulated.
If you ask me the questions, like I said, it had to do with stuff about Amy.
Okay,
It had to do
okay,
stuff about like Jason not like, oh, he was credited, but I'm like, but he wasn't
sure.
really credited.
Okay, so
It was like that kind
Yes,
of
let's
stuff.
start
But if
with
you want to
that.
ask me
Is that
questions, like you
yeah,
go to the whole video and ask me.
you stated that JDF was
Yeah,
not credited for Soul of the Dragon in your
correct,
interview. That was a correct statement. However,
correct.
Deoxy unearthed proof that Jason was credited. So would that make your original statement a lie?
No, so what I was saying in the original is that Jason was not created as being a co-creator of the project, and for
Whoa.
those people in the industry, what?
You did no. If you're saying now, if now you're trying to switch your original interview to hey he wasn't credited as a co-creator, that's different from saying he was not credited at all. Because now you're misleading fans to think that hey they just stole this idea from Jason, and then without Deoxy putting out this video, I don't think we'll have this interview where you're saying oh he wasn't credited as a co-creator.
So I probably left that out, and that was my mistake, and I should have said that he cooked it. But when I was talking about it, because the whole topic was about how, don't roll your eyes, Henry.
I'm just saying you said
Um,
yeah.
he's a liar, and I'm like well he didn't lie in his video. His video's
no,
true.
Right.
here's how you're misportraying the truth. When me and Francis had the conversation, we were talking about how Boom stole ideas that we
Right.
created, and I go, Jason wasn't credited. So what happens is if you just go, Jason wasn't credited, you're like, well, he got credit. And I was like, but if you take that first part out, where I was talking about how we created it and he wasn't credited for it, I go, then it looks like I'm lying. But I wasn't lying. You just took part of what I was saying out, and that's the point I'm saying. So when we talked on there, I said that we created a bunch of this stuff and Jason wasn't credited for it. He was credited as a consultant, which also, just to put into reference real quick, in the industry, when people are labeled as a consultant, that's like you being written off as if you haven't really done anything.
But yeah, as we fans, we're taking this at face value. If you say he wasn't credited and you don't come back to say, hey, he wasn't credited as a co-creator, then we're
right. And
weaponized against Boom Comics to think, hey, they just stole this shit from a lot of people's favorite hero, a lot of people's favorite Ranger.
Right. But okay, so here Francis brought up an email, I think, right?
Yeah. So this, you know what happened was we were talking, right? We were talking, flowing. Well, I personally knew what Aaron was talking about because I knew that Jason had more of an effect, more of just a consultant in Soul of the Dragon. But we didn't go in depth. We were just talking. We're trying to get through all the points. But I understood that, right? But I understand where Henry's coming from because it makes it seem like he wasn't credited at all. So of course you go to the back of Soul of the Dragon and there is of course a credit as a consultant. And the good thing that Aaron speaks about, hey, like the day before it came out, I got an email and they basically said that they weren't going to credit Aaron and Jason, and that they were going to give Jason, and this is the email, they only gave Jason let's say a BS, to me, right, a BS credit because they didn't want to get on Jason's bad side. At the end of the day, if Jason would have been like, hey, I worked on Soul of the Dragon and I didn't get not one credit, people would have probably lost their minds. And let me just go through the email. It says, hi Aaron, thanks for checking in. A quick update on the OGN. The book, which has been titled Power Rangers Soul of the Dragon, has significantly changed shape over the last several months and become something wholly unique, a story about Tommy Oliver that explores all of the... Did I skip something? A story about Tommy
Oliver.
Oliver.
That's what the story was all about. They changed it to what our pitch was
A story about Tommy Oliver that explores all of the different Ranger personas he's assumed over the years. Considering how far this project has evolved and how new and unique it has become, Boom has an obligation to reflect those changes in the crediting of the series. This means that we will be focusing on the primary creative staff only. That said, in all transparency, we'll likely reach out to Jason David Frank to discuss likeness, which could result in some kind of specific credit to be determined. Suffice it to say, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but suffice it to say, I want to thank you for your passion. Please know that the door remains open for future Power Rangers discussions as well as other kinds of creative. To me, this means that you had obviously they spoke to you guys, which is, I mean, you and I know, and I know Jason has spoken. There's countless interviews where Jason speaks about, going and giving these ideas and then never getting credit or then never getting anything out of it. So here they're saying they're only giving Jason credit because of his likeness, not because of the input that he put in the Soul of the Dragon.
This would have been great,
right? And
if it was in the interview.
But you're right. Here's an actual text from Jason that you can see right here if you want to screenshot or whatever, and I'll read it to you.
Let me see if I can zoom in. Hold on.
I'll say, still pissed they took our names off it. It was us who went to Boom to get it started. And Jason replies, they put my name on the front cover like some BS consulting to sell books.
You can put it up.
They did the same thing with Amy. There you go. This is a text from Jason, and then he's saying, I don't trust Brian for all this sort of stuff. So you can see that Jason was not happy with that, and it was just some BS garbage. So that's my thing is, and really my intention is Jason was hurt by that because he's like, I had this idea, I want this. He goes, why can't it say story by us? And I was like, and with a lot of stuff, it'd be cool if my name's on there, but at the same time, I could see it affected Jason in a different way than it affected me. And I was like, I want him to have that recognition. He put this all together, and that's why it's very frustrating. I was like, why isn't he giving credit? And by credit, I mean a co-creating credit.
but that wasn't in the video. So when you got a YouTuber who's making a video off of what's publicly available at the moment, and you say
Right,
he
right.
wasn't credited, and then he's like, "Oh, he's
Which,
credited," and you
which,
calling him a liar. You said he's lying on you, and I'm like, "Well,
which is why I reached out to him and said, hey, let's have a conversation so
but
I can express all the
so
details.
he didn't lie on you. To be fair, to clear Deoxy's name, he did not lie on you.
He on that one, he's manipulating the truth.
But he
What
didn't
was
know
the
the
truth
truth.
out?
That's
What truth
that's
was
what
out there at the time for him to know that Jason was not credited as a co-creator? What truth is he manipulating?
If you listen to me and Francis' interview, we were talking about him creating it. So, but I'm
I
not
think we
also
weren't.
here to talk about Deoxy and
Yeah,
his
yeah.
silly little video. But
Oh, come on, man.
but
That wasn't a silly video. It was a great video. It was a
I
great
mean,
video.
sure. I mean, it's fun. It's fun
Not
to
to
watch.
Aaron, obviously.
Well,
I mean, it's against Aaron, but let's not digress because we have limited time. I think that a lot
okay.
of people, right? Um, what Henry's trying to say is we didn't go in depth into what we, even though we were mentioning about creating, we didn't go in depth, right, with that. And because we didn't expect, I mean, I personally didn't expect that people were gonna like chop it up and dissect it, but
Yeah.
in reality it's good that someone comes off and actually, you know, scrutinizes things, because then it will learn to
Uh,
make things better, right? And
No, and
then,
I
you
love
know,
it. I love that.
not to push forward. But this
so
is actually from something that you and Jason created, Rise of
Yes.
the
Also,
Emerald
okay.
Dragon.
for the record, Henry.
One more question. If
Okay.
Deoxy doesn't give you an interview, are you going to send lawyers at him?
I wish he would respond. I think it's kind of cowardice to not. But I'm glad that he posted the video. Like, you have to understand that I think
That
this
does
whole
not answer the
thing
question. I hate to
is
interrupt
very
you.
fun. Huh?
I said that does not answer the question. Are you going to send lawyers at Deoxy if he never interviews you? If he says, you know what, Aaron,
No,
screw
no,
you.
no, no, no,
He
no,
doesn't
no.
need
If he
Deoxy to interview him. He's answering
That's
right
what I
now.
said.
I don't know. No. But if he would to further use information to paint a bad picture that's untrue, which is defamation of character, I could reach out. That's why I'm like, what is your essentially? When I reached out to him, I was like, what is your goal here? Is your goal to just you want to answer stuff, or do you want to actually put down the brand and put me down? I go, what are you after? That's why I reached out to him, but I didn't threaten him with anything. I was like, if you don't answer and you keep doing this, I'm gonna have to like have my lawyers reach
Silence
out
him.
and see what's going on. I didn't. You said silence. I
know,
didn't say silence.
but that's typically how it works. You've been in this
go
game
on
long
a
enough.
lie- if you go on a lie and you made accusations about me, Henry, and said things that were totally untrue, factually, I could have my lawyers go out and sue you
Absolutely.
if you did that.
But
So
he went off
I
what was publicly available. And publicly available, you said JDF wasn't credited. That's a
Yes,
truthful
and that's
statement.
true.
Now today you're saying, well, he wasn't given the co-creator credit.
Correct. And I should have been clearer on that. But also, if you listen to the whole interview, that's what we're talking about.
I would love to talk more about Deoxy, about you saying that Boom Comics took your iteration of the Green Dragon in a dodgy way. Can you like explain that? Because he showed that you guys were ecstatic about being in the comics from your posts.
Very excited. We are very excited.
So how did they go ahead? How did they dodgily take your iteration of the Green Dragon, which is actually right here?
Right. So I can actually show you emails from Boom that I basically when it appeared in comics, me and Jason were all excited. We're like, oh, it's so cool. It's in there. What an accomplishment. And then I reached out to Boom and I said, hey, love it. This is so cool. Can you send me all these covers? You know, how are you guys going to credit us? And then Boom was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know what we're talking about? I go, you used our costume. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you referencing? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm confused. So I'm friends with Dan Mora, who drew all that and was hired to design it. And I went to Dan. I go, hey, Dan, how did this come about? And he's like, oh, Boom reached out to me and says, please adapt the Bat in the Sun comic book design or beatdown design in the comic books. I go, Boom and Hasbro told you that? He's like, yep, Boom told me that, which I have screenshots of all this. So I was like, Boom, what, like, I have your artist saying that you used ours as that was the point of it. So I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, me and Jason don't want any money. I don't want any money. I don't care about money. I go, just credit. And once again, I can see Jason is mental health is falling apart. And I was like, this would be a good win for him. You know, it's cool for me too. But I was like, but just say it was credited. Just credit it. And then, you know, have him sell the books. That's all he wants. He just wants to be credited in what he's doing. And that's why I'm saying it's very dodgy.
Okay, so they wasn't credited, but if they bought if you license it to Hasbro, right?
Mm.
You license to Hasbro probably in perpetuity, so they can use it for forever, right?
To the game. So we license it to I believe it's actually Lionsgate who owns that game.
Okay. So
that's actually I think how it gets. I think it's so long ago now I forget, but that's how it works out.
So if they took your idea and didn't credit you, you could technically sue them, correct? Or is it because they got the license from Hasbro, who did pay you for the idea, that they don't have to talk to you to use the
you know, I
image?
don't know. I'm not a big fan of suing people. I've never done it. I don't want to do that because they say that when you know, Confucius say if you seek revenge off someone, you know, prepare two graves, one for the person you're seeking revenge off on yourself. So I'm not a big fan of actually like doing that. I showed my lawyers all the stuff about the Green Ranger costume, Soul of the Dragon, Draken, and the lawyer was like, "Yeah, you can sue them." He goes, "You're not going to get any money out of it because comics make so little money," and he's like, "It's going to end up costing you so much money." And I was like, "I don't really want to do that, and it's just a lot of time. I'd rather just create positive things than do that." My biggest thing is I just and recently, what's kind of funny is that Boom even reached out to me recently to they were doing a Kickstarter and they want to put a lot of Jason stuff in there, and I said just credit Jason. I go, just credit Jason. And they were like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, why? We don't want any money, like no money. Just give him the credit. You can even leave me out of it. I don't care. Like, I just want my friend to be acknowledged for his love and passion for these projects that he is clearly affected. You know, and so that's what I'm saying. It's very dodgy.
Okay. All right.
And
Does
actually,
that make sense? Did that make sense? Are you happy with that answer?
I mean, I would love to know this to the extent of how much Hasbro owns of the image, because the way it was explained to me that Boom has access to everything that Hasbro owns. So if you license them I don't know that I'm trying not to get too much up in contracts, but if you license that iteration of the Green Dragon to Hasbro in perpetuity or for a specific amount of years, and Boom is working with Hasbro and they can use any Power Ranger design as they see fit, then technically they would not have to credit you or credit Jason because they got the license from
And that's
Hasbro.
true. And that's true. And there's nothing, I don't think there's anything untrue about that. What I would say is, and this is just among respect among people, is when I reached out to the people at Boom and I said, hey, you're using our design. It looks super cool. Can you send us some comics? Can you give us credit? And for them to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, you can say, hey, we're not going to credit you because we legally don't have to, but everyone's loving the design. It's so cool. Like, great job. And be like, all right, just the total blow off. And then speak to Dan. And Dan's like, no, he totally told me to do that. And I was like, well, like, why? It just adds to all the shadiness and dodginess that
and let's
Boom Hasbro's always
also
done.
add what Aaron was saying. Like, it wasn't about money. It wasn't like pay me for the costume or whatever. It's about acknowledgement. And I think what Aaron is saying, right? What I know Aaron is saying is that Jason was very about appreciation of, getting the pat in the back, and he never got that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
costume, like I said, that I don't want to say costume, but that design was probably the most cosplayed Ranger right after you guys introduced it, right? And it was even more so than the original Green Ranger. And I think what was important is like Jason wanted acknowledgement, thank you from Hasbro, Saban, whoever, like, because you're so relevant, Jason. You're such a like iconic character that you built this, and that was never the case. That never happened. And I think that now, I heard people saying, well, Jason didn't hate Lord Draken. No, he didn't. I know that, he did not hate Lord Draken at first, right?
Correct.
Because that he saw Lord Draken as the opportunity of coming now and being like, they're gonna give him something for him to work on, a more adult theme, something better, and that didn't happen. And they strung him along, and then it didn't happen. And while it not happening, I believe he resented the character. And it's not something that it's you everyone's hearing new from my mouth or Aaron's mouth. It's something that he obviously shared. If you go back and scroll through Jason's social media, the last post with anything Lord Dragon was in 2020. Like, he just wiped everything out of that character because he resented the character, not because he hated the character. Not because the character was bad or whatever. It was because it was another thing that he made popular with the Shattered Grid
Oh, 100%.
that later he did not get any appreciation. Didn't get any appreciation for it. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that Aaron is speaking for Jason. They were out there. All that information's out there. Jason was clear about it. He told me, you guys heard it from the voice text, told Nicole, the other assistant, and everyone, like, wipe it out, take it out, take it off my YouTube, take it off. Even, a lot of the designs, I used to design all his flyers. He would never use Lord Draken. He would never use Lord Draken because he thought, like, hey, this character, mind you, he put that his own money for that Shattered Grid trailer, and that trailer did more than 4 million views. IGN posted it, people were posting it. They, made a ton of views, and probably Lord Draken became such a popular character. And yes, Hasbro was made money and made all this stuff, and Jason never got the acknowledgement of, you brought this character up. Not that he created the character. That's not what we're
Well,
talking about. What we're talking about is he made the character popular.
I think maybe y'all thinking about it too small of a scale. JDF should be credited for creating the Power Ranger multiverse. If you think, because that's what Lord Draken was. That was the multiverse.
Yeah.
It introduced the Power Rangers. So,
And yeah, and me and Jason pitched that idea just a few years before to Saban as a comic book. So,
And
but you have all
it up. I just had it
you
up.
have all that audio too, if you want to.
Yeah, we're gonna get that. I wanted to leave that as something, but
So
I'm gonna play the audio definitely.
I have 15 minutes, and then
Okay.
I can hop back on though. If you give me like, I gotta take my grandma to the doctor here.
I gotcha. Let me acknowledge the contributors first, and
someone's
then
talking to Henry. Someone's feeling Henry questions.
I'll bring it up. Aaron versus Henry, the greatest superpower beatdown of all. LOL. P.S. We gotta get a first look at Ashtagar. Sounds like the movie opens with a big fight between Jason and him, based on the IMDb summary. People notice, and
Well,
I mean, I saw, so I know what they're talking about. I'm excited.
I'm like completely lost, but
it's for the Legend of the White Dragon.
We got 15 minutes. Let's get into this questions and audio.
Let me go.
I'll be back
Henry. Why pull up the audio?
Okay, well, all right. Well, we can basically revisit, if you will, the whole Amy Jo thing. So, are you wanting fans to believe that you had no idea that the return was created by Amy Jo Johnson when you accused her of stealing the whole the concept of Kimberly and Tommy having a baby and going on to take the mantle of the Green Ranger? Are you want fans to believe that you had no idea that Amy Jo was behind the return?
My initial post, I believe, was just directed towards Boom, and I thought it was just them using. I have to see, because at some point I did become aware of that it was Amy involved, and then I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, because originally my shade was all at Boom, because I was like, Boom has been dodgy before. I go, are they being dodgy again?
Yes. Now, speaking of that, you said that if I'm not mistaken, Jesus, that she was only doing this for fans' acceptance and money. Are you still of that opinion that she only did the return for fans' acceptance and money?
So here we go. If you read the questions before it, right? So if you read and you have to go above that, because I said as long as she can prove and give him credit, it's all good. I said if this was based off Jason's idea, or it was based off her idea, as long as she can prove that it was based off her, then I'm fine with her not giving Jason any credit because it's all her idea, And then someone says, why would she lie about that? And I go, well, you would lie and use Jason's name just as Boom did to get money. Like, so the motivations are obvious. I'm not saying that she's doing that. I go, but it'd be obvious why you would want to use Jason's name to do that.
Now,
If that's an idea, huh?
I get what you're saying, but don't you think that's a little bit ironic because now you have accepted investor money, which means Legend of the White Dragon is essentially going to be about the money. Whereas when she did the Kickstarter, there was no outside investors. So, the money, whatever comes in is what goes into the comic. And it's just purely for the fans.
Okay. So do you guys know how Kickstarters work through companies?
Elaborate us, please. Explain it to us.
So Boom pays her, and then they do a Kickstarter, and then there's a contract that stipulates. Usually, I haven't seen her paperwork, so I can't be specifically accusatory, but I know people that have done this, and they get a percentage of that as well.
Okay, so she
and the higher the Kickstarter raises, the more those people get. So obviously, saying like using Jason's name or clout will help do that. Also, which is fine. She should get paid for what she does. I mean, she should get paid for the work she put in. There's nothing wrong with that. In our case, we want to raise as much money so we get money to Jason's family because they've never gotten any money.
Okay.
So it's like it's such a small percentage that would even go to me, to Chris, based upon what would go to Boom and Amy and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't know their deal. She could be like, that's not how my contract worked. And she's probably right. But I know other people that do Kickstarter projects and it works differently. Hopefully that answered that question.
A little bit, but we long time. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse.
We keep going, and then someone says, she was one of Jason's longest, closest friends. She wouldn't exploit him or dishonor his honor any more than Aaron would. And I go, closest friends, incorrect. That's where a lot of people got mad.
I mean, yes. That's so trivial though. It's so subjective to say who's the closest, who's not. I mean, there's no right or wrong answers in that. I can get that.
I mean, it's not subjective, but okay.
Oh, or I can get it how you can say, hey, well, I've been spending years with JDF building Legend of the White Dragon. Trust me, I'm closer to him than Amy ever was or ever will be. Yada yada yada. But this goes to kind of like my next question. Are investors aware of your online antics with like the fuse with Deoxy? And also you liking a post where someone basically said they wanted to dox Deoxy and harass him. I mean, I could pull up the post specifically of what you liked. And it's kind of like similar to this group of Triforia where they tried to weaponize their fan base to attack their detractors. Because on your Facebook, you do got like 1.2 million people. So you say, hey, look at this guy Deoxy. He's lying on me, which we kind of proved that he wasn't lying. And this other guy who was another hater, you basically put him out there, and I'm sure both of them are receiving hate. So are your investors aware of the storm that you're causing online?
Oh yeah.
And they support this?
They know. I mean, basically, they trust me to handle the media the way that I do, the way that I've built my fan base, the way that's going on. I mean, fans are going to take things out of context. People are going to hate on stuff.
Okay, and do you think
people are going to read into things?
Okay. What? Do you think you have done irreparable damage? Because maybe there are people out there now who's like, I'm not supporting the film just off of, how Aaron's treating Deoxy, because Deoxy is one of the, like a beloved Power Ranger content creator.
No, I don't. I mean, I think it's all kind of fun and games, but it's all we're arguing over Power Ranger stuff. Like it's all a joke. It's all silly.
It's pretty serious because these are the people who are going to go out and support you or not support you. So I mean, I take it a little bit more serious.
Is that we're arguing over something that is a privilege to argue over. It's a blessing. Like you watch the news, right? And these people are dying in Israel and Ukraine and Russia and stuff like that. And it's horrific, right? They're losing their families, they're losing their limbs. And here we're able to argue over Power Rangers. We're able to argue over something we love that's like fun, that's like cool. And it's all just kind of like trivial, silly stuff. Like I said, I like debating. Our whole channel is based on debating and going after each other and getting into comic book store arguments, which is kind of fun.
And Aaron is always very clear and does do that, right? And again, like we said in the interview, and I've said it to him, like, we all go through our passion, right? Like Aaron's very passionate. It's clear here. It's clear in many interviews, he's gonna defend and protect Jason and Bat and
Yeah.
the Sun and the brand and the movie wholeheartedly, right? And I mean, there's instances that I blow up, there's instances that we all blow up, and we reel each other in, but at the end of the day, we're human, we're grieving, we're going through XYZ. It's not an excuse, and it doesn't make things okay, but I think that there's always something, right? And then it's like, oh my God, and then we move on, and then something else happens. I think that we make mistakes and we sometimes react. And I know yesterday I was telling Aaron, like, don't lose your cool. And he's like, I'm not losing my cool. This is not something that I'm taking serious, and I'm not like I'm not, getting stressed over. But to Deoxy and to the people that you posted, I get what Henry's saying. They might feel they're probably gonna get hate, but I mean,
Significant
Aaron
amount of
gets that
hate.
too. A significant, but Aaron gets a significant amount of hate as well.
Yeah, but it's
So,
one thing
what I
for
mean?
someone to be an online personality. That shit just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Sure, Deoxy is not expecting someone with 1 million followers to say, "Hey, he's lied and said false things." Only for the person who said that he lied and said false things to say, "Well, I'm sorry, I didn't elaborate that much," without saying that, "Hey, Deoxy didn't lie," because I don't think you want to say he didn't lie.
Henry, did I reach out to him to clarify before I posted about him?
Sure, you did. But
yes or no?
Yes, but you never said he didn't lie. You won't say it. You won't say Deoxy didn't lie.
In court terms, using information to add it together to make it look like or manipulate the jury as if our client is lying, that's what it is.
He didn't. He used your public interview, Aaron. You literally said JDF didn't get credit. Now you're here saying he didn't get co-creator credit. So therefore, Deoxy never lied.
Henry, I'll explain this one more time to you. When we're talking about something, and if you cut out the header, and then you don't use that, and then use that in context, like I'll give you an example here. There's a great the 49ers he was the Patriots quarterback at the time. He was, and then he went to the 49ers, and he said, because when he was playing Brady, Garoppolo is his name, he was like, when I get on the field, I go in against someone like Brady, I think that I'm better than Brady, because I have to think that, otherwise I'm going to lose to him. People took I'm better than Brady over here, and they're like, Garoppolo didn't lie. He really said that. And I'm like, but you took everything around it.
But that's an opinion.
And now it looks like he's saying he's better than Brady. And I go, but he didn't say that.
But that's an opinion. You saying JDF didn't get credited is a fact. That's something that you can prove. No one can prove that Garoppolo is better than Brady.
You can't statistically, but
okay.
I mean, rings and everything, they show that.
Sure, 100%. You can do that, but
well, no, you just walk back on what something said.
I mean, like, I do think that whole better thing is subjective. If I say, hey,
it's not in sports. 0 rings for 7 rings. It's not.
Henry,
I don't want to get off. Look, man.
But if we were talking about creating, Henry, we were talking about creating, and then he said
talking about creating.
He was not credited.
Yeah.
We, technically, we're talking about creating.
But what fan watched that video and took it as, hey, he wasn't.
A lot of fans did, because they commented on there saying that.
Yeah, when you're talking, are you really thinking about? Let me be more clear. We're talking about creating. Jason didn't get credit for being creative part. No, we were talking about creating, and we're just flowing with the interview. I'm saying, like, yes, I feel like, to the way Deoxy put it, it does look like he lied, because Jason did get credit, but it also. If you hear the whole interview, we were talking about Jason never got creative acknowledgement. And that's why he started Legend of the White Dragon, because he never got, to own something. He even says it in the interview. Jason wanted Legend of the White Dragon because now he owns something. Now it wasn't like, oh, we're the owners of Power Rangers, so it doesn't matter if you built Lord Draken to be amazing, if you built the Green Superpower Beatdown Green Ranger to be amazing. That's what we were talking about.
Look,
so
we don't have to go in circles. I would never agree with you guys.
Aaron didn't lie.
in my opinion, it was a
lie. In your opinion, but in my opinion, and in a lot of people's other opinion, it wasn't a lie, because we were talking about creative. And I actually had something up hold on, let me
You
bring
got
it
to be
up.
specific. You can't say he didn't get creative
Wait,
credit, and then
Henry, I am
look.
an
You know
amateur.
me. I'm gonna just
Listen,
go. Hey, well,
listen.
I
I
watched
know
the
you're going to
interview.
continue, but I am an amateur uh interviewer. We were Aaron and I are close, like not
Look,
and again, people
I
feel like
look.
you're just offending because you're friends.
I'm not. I
No,
don't
yes,
care. I don't care.
I love Aaron and stuff,
I
but
know.
it's right.
I
You
know
have your
Legend of the White
opinion.
Dragon is going to come out. I do joke about it from time to time. You know, Legend of the
That's fine.
Indiegogo, blah blah blah. Who the fuck cares? I'll
But
joke about it, but I don't think you're milking it for money per se. But I do think Deoxy did a fair and honest assessment of what was
okay,
publicly available to
I
the
agree.
public at the time.
I agree. But now that's why Aaron is here and he's
But
showing why his truth,
let's not
his
waste Aaron's time.
truth,
Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
his
Let's go.
truth.
Let's get to the audio. We
Yes,
can
but
talk about
let
this. I
me
want
share this.
go
Let me
ahead.
share this to defend, to just see what we're talking about creative, because there are a lot of talks about, hey, Aaron doesn't you know, Jason didn't hate Draken. Aaron is making this up to build an agenda, whatever. So this email is in 2020, and I believe that's when you guys started really going into Legend of the White Dragon. And
Hmm.
this is him in response to Boom, and which is something you mentioned earlier, that they wanted him to do a whole bunch of stuff with like Boom Comics. And this is Jason's response. Obviously, I'm not doxing anyone. I just left Boom Studios so you guys know that he was actually talking to someone from Boom Studios. And it says, I wish this is from Jason. I wish I could, buddy. We currently have a deal for the Legend of the White Dragon comic. It's it's a conflict of interest. I'm putting all my focus on my own brand. I paid for the Lord Dragon. Obviously, he uses the stupid voice to text. I paid for the Lord Dragon series and never got a return on that. The brand has made silly moves. It's not the mask, it's the man behind the mask. I'm going to repeat that. It's not the mask, it's the man behind the mask. So right now I'm contracted to this new company, but thank you for reaching out. Also, I just want to reiterate that I own the exclusive rights to the Lord Dragon trailer. Everybody keeps using it like IGN, and unfortunately, people cannot use that without my permission. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I have a whole new team and would hate for any conflict of interest. I appreciate all you do. And this goes to why, and it's just a lot. He never got any credit, any like pat on the back, any thank you, any and for anything that he did. And no offense to Hasbro or anything, because at the end of the day, people I see things people saying like that Henry and I are hate mongers and that we
I
are
am a
just like bullying and talking and being negative. No, Aaron can vouch for me, I guess. At least we know what happened behind the scenes to make Jason the way that he was. And then I'm at the end of the day, I'm a human, I'm a normal person. I have opinions just like everyone. And if I don't like something, I'm gonna say it. And this shows right here why even Jason felt he never got credit. That consultant thing was BS. Oh, we're using your likeness, so we're just going to put you on a consultant. When Jason, and Kyle has even brought it up in interviews, Jason had a hand in a lot in the formation of Soul of the Dragon and never got a creative or a creator acknowledgement for it. So that's what we were talking about in the interview. Not that Jason wasn't credited, because he was credited as a consultant, but not in something that he felt, because he's expressed it in many things. You can see it in this email. He's done it in a lot of interviews. He felt he never got that acknowledgement for creating a lot of the successes that the show had, during Hasbro and everything like that. Let me acknowledge Dust.
Dust is trolling.
Dust was Jason credited for being a consultant? A consultant helps with the creative process, don't they? But Dust, yes, consultant. If you look at Soul of the Dragon in the front, it's Kyle Higgins and two other people. They could have easily put Jason's name also as a creator. It's separate. It was consultant and creator. A consultant to me, is like, oh, we just, we discussed something. It wasn't like he helped form, he helped shape this character, this book, like let's say Kyle who wrote it and all that, but it's a thing of like logistics, what you think, but we know, or I know, I feel like, to me, I rather get a creative credit than a consultant credit. 100%.
Yeah. And also, me and Jason went to Boom. That started the whole thing moving forward in terms of the idea, Old Man Tommy, and the ideas that we had and so forth. And we were supposed to be story credit on the whole thing, and then they took us off on the last day. And the film industry works a little different because you have to get credit and that kind of stuff. The comic industry doesn't follow a lot of those kind of rules, but in terms of like creating it, Jason should have gotten a co-credit. I mean, I should have too, but Jason should have gotten a co-credit. You rolled your eyes again.
Well, I already said online that I think that this is mostly about you not getting credit and Jason not getting credit. I'm sorry. I said online that I think this is more about Bat and the Sun not getting credit than Jason not getting credit. I said it online. It is what it is. So that's where
you would be incorrect. I would be happy if Jason got credit. It'd be great if I got credit too, because I'm also putting a ton of the work.
You have to remember,
but it would be great.
I went off the interview where y'all said Jason wasn't credited, and then he was credited.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But that's how you interpret it, though. Like everything is interpreted the way it is, right? Because Henry, I don't care what you say.
I say leave no room for interpretation.
Okay,
that's number one rule.
Real quick. Let me just say some real quicker, and then because I got to get going here, and I'm enjoying this.
Hey, look. So I appreciate you joining too. By the way, go ahead.
Okay, so it's when you do online interviews, especially with the way politics are today, it's really important to be really specific. Which me and Francis were specific. I thought, taken out of context, it was not specific enough. So it ended up being what it is. I thought, hey, he may not have understood. I reached out to him. I said, would you like me to clarify anything? Because we can talk like civilized people and kind of go back and forth. But it is what it is now. I think we all understand. There's no reason to harp on any of it. We Henry, you disagree with what me and Francis think.
It's okay.
That's okay.
It's all right.
And disagree. That's fine. Even lying or not lying about that is not the worst thing in the world, because like I said, it's still about Power Rangers and this kind of stuff. So it's okay. We can move on from that. I think we all understand now. At least the most important thing is that we've arrived at the destination. Is that what we were all trying to say, right? Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
I'm
not making sense.
Okay, cool.
I'm like, I get what it was, but
Okay, cool. I hate no one, and I would still love to be interviewed by Drotsy, and that's the name, right, Drotsy?
Deoxy 360.
Deoxy. I'd still be happy to interview him. I went on his page. I looked at him. He has a cool White Ranger bust that I have and stuff. He's a big fan. But play the audio real quicker, and then I have to get going.
Okay.
But I will come back.
Yeah, let's get the audio.
Hold on, because now, how can I just share the screen? Guys, I'm a noob. Can I just share the screen? Share video file. No.
No. If you share the video, it may not get sound. Like remember I told
you. Let me. You know what, Francis? I have it. I can just play it off my phone if you want.
All right. So can I tell you the time? Because I think everything we play. Or you want to play the whole thing?
I just play the whole thing. Just
there we go. Play the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Play the whole thing. So we have.
I mean, if that's the case, wait.
Look, we want to make sure we got full context of everything, right?
So wait, Henry. If I hit share screen share, it won't sound.
Just try it. Just see. I don't know what your sound settings are, but you could try it.
If I share video file, will it play the whole thing?
No, that is. I think. I'm so sorry about this, Aaron.
Like picture video.
You want to share the video that you're playing, like share tab.
I have it on YouTube.
Great. Yeah, share screen. It's going to show. Yeah. It's going to play. It's going to be good.
Hold on. Let me just be good. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I didn't.
Well, I'll talk to Aaron. I really appreciate you coming up. I never said you were milking it, for the record, and I was never scared to interview you. However, you are aware of my criticism in true Aaron fashion. You reached out to everyone who criticized you except for me. So it wasn't that I was scared of you, like you put on your Facebook page, because I ain't never scared. But I was like,
you also never really so you didn't really ever insult me. I never felt you were against me.
Oh, I would never insult anyone. That's not my
MO. But that's why I didn't reach out. Usually when people my favorite thing to do is when people insult and they lie, then I'll reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want to talk to me?
Well, hell, fuck Aaron, you guys, fuck him. I didn't know that I had to insult you.
But
Look, I cover things from a fact-based standpoint. I've always been fact-based. I've never been like, well, I think ABC person sucks with nothing to go off of. It's always like, look, I reacted to your interviews. I'm like, hey, this is what he's saying.
Francis, do you want to play the audio?
yeah, I'm gonna play the audio,
She
and
got it.
then we'll keep talking. And
And
if I'm still online, hopefully Axel is still sleeping, and you
Or do
come
you,
back on, you could just click the link again.
I do want to come back on. Do you want to wait to play this in like 25 minutes
What do you guys
so I
think?
can
Should we wait? I
so I
think we
can like
should wait.
talk you through it? Huh?
No, let's get
I
it
think
now,
we
and then
should
he
wait.
can come back.
Okay, we'll do that. All right.
I'll be here
Okay,
in
go for it.
25 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
If anything, I can give this. If my son wakes up, I'll give the stream to Henry, and he'll continue. Okay. How do I make it? Oh, ready? Go.
Yeah.
This is Aaron's audio, by the way.
It is very, very important to look at that Lord Draken footage. I own the digital footage. All we have to do is send a cease and desist to take it down IGN and to remove it from all necessary platforms. I own it for once in my life, and we can just tell them to take it down. Also, I need, Nicole, you to reach out to everything that has Lord Draken on it. IGN, everybody that has Lord Draken. I want to send a letter that I own the digital rights, and they must pull it off the channel. I don't want no Lord Draken stuff out there. Hey, Nicole, I'm very, very shocked to see the Lord Draken Shattered Grid trailer on my channel. We discussed this a long time ago, and I don't know why it's on my freaking channel. I was going through it, and there's a lot we need to organize. Take that off. Delete the whole damn thing. Delete everything from there. I literally just watched it today from someone else's phone. I don't want to bring light to Lord Draken at all. I'm trying to kill that character. Everywhere I go, I'm like, Legend of White Dragon will kill it. So people do know. And, we could talk about stuff and be like, yeah, man, Aaron, when you came to the house, remember we talked about the Green Rangers, solo series. It's so crazy how we talked about that, this movie, they were trying to do, but just be like, we were basically the creators of that, and now we have our own thing. So, and Lord Draken died. I don't give a about this Morphin Grid, but I just posted R.I.P. Lord Draken, and I will rise as the Legend of the White Dragon. So it kind of rhymes. R.I.P. Lord Draken, I will rise as the Legend of the White Dragon. Oh, that's my new poem. I gotta go. I'm on a bike, boys. Like me and Aaron have been so many times. Aaron, you know that. You've been by Boom. They're using your character design on comic books and making money off you. You know that. I really do. It's like I can't stand Kyle just because he tried sabotaging first. I mean, I talked to him at one point, but I'm not talking to him anymore. I can't stand that dude. Hey, buddy, I just missed my flight. So I made it clear with Boom. They offered me a signing for these books. They're just it's not a Kickstarter. It's like, what the hell it is, but I made it clear. I ain't signing no Dragon books. I made it clear that I don't like Kyle Higgins. I made it very clear to Boom that we have the rights to the Green Ranger series. I also made it very clear if we ever decided to, they're screwed. But I did tell them I'm not signing Dragon books. Anyway, just letting you know, just a heads up. But I made it very clear to them what we've done and what Kyle has stolen. So I just thought I'd tell you that. It was a good chance to tell him, Yep, I'm going to keep telling the truth. So, but yeah, I talk with him. I made it very clear I don't like him. And never going to talk to him again. He acts, they even said that Kyle just takes too much credit for shit that he shouldn't have. So, all right, buddy.
Damn, Kyle Higgins, where you at? Respond.
I feel bad because I'm the one that introduced Kyle to Jason. So
it's safe to say you and Kyle no longer have a relationship, Aaron?
No, okay. Not at all. No.
Well, it's safe to say that. But Aaron, I love you, and I thank you for being here. But I know you have to go take your grandmother.
Take your grandma.
So we'll still be here for a little bit.
Be here, and now that audio is out there, and I mean I have so much more, but that really clarifies all of it. like this is me talking for Jason. I go, that's what he had to say. You know, like there was always like, what's so funny. There was like, I told